You know, I think people underestimate the value of a good soundtrack to be able to add to a form of media. Um, there are a lot of movies and moments in those movies that wouldn't be nearly as good as they are if it weren't for the fact that the soundtrack was supporting it. Same with games. Same with any form of visual reliant media. Um, you can just really enhance it. But there's also the thing that could be said for D&D, having a good background sound and good music to play while things are happening and really help set the mood for what's going on. That is huge, and I think people overlook that kind of stuff frequently. Um, I say it pretty frequently, and I tend to stand by it. Music is life. Um, and I mean that in multiple ways. For me, music is so important for how I associate things. It's so important for how I look at the world. It's so important for how I look at how things flow. Um, but also, it is a reflection of the emotions that the musician is feeling at the time of writing and performing and recording it. Um, and those very same things are something that we can all relate to on a fundamental level. Music and mathematics. I've also heard, I've heard it said to be, and I do tend to agree because math works regardless of what language you speak. But music, I feel like, tends to be a bit of a universal language. Obviously, there are some things that are culturally affected, certain things that tend to be done in certain cultures that aren't done in other cultures. Mostly to do with rhythms, but also some things to do with certain progressions and chords, I believe. I'm not well versed enough in music theory to really fully understand all of it, but I am enthusiastic enough to actually try and maintain these conversations with people, try and learn a little bit about other cultural music, um, and learn about the people behind the creation of that music, because music is life. So think about that. If you're making your own media, if you're making your own stuff, spend some time, think about the soundtrack, think about, is this really the best possible piece for the thing that you're working on? Could you maybe squeeze a little bit more of that experience that you're trying to craft out of just a little more time looking for that perfect piece? And for those of you who DM or GM, if you haven't been working music into it, I personally haven't been, but that's my own fault of just falling into the trap of being too lazy. Consider it. Consider finding some royalty-free. I mean, it doesn't even have to be royalty-free if you're not streaming. No one's gonna report you for just playing music at your game. Find music that fits. Find BGM stuff. Find appropriate songs. If you are playing games that happen to be in modern settings, you could use some more modern stuff for it. You can also use some of the more modern stuff if you're having a really intense fight happen. It just feels right to have Doom's stuff playing in it, because all that is actually really good, high octane. Let's have some fun just fighting. So yeah, use music, use it to its fullest, use it to its advantage. There's a reason it has been such a common and frequently used medium in our cultures, and it deserves a little more consideration than I think many people give it, because we just tend to take it for granted with how readily available it is. So be excellent to each other, be excellent to yourselves, and I will see you around. Bye-bye.